Hello, and thank you again for tuning in to one of Leverage Monkey's updates. A lot of people questioning and asking questions on Twitter and other places um, about volume and other things. So I'm going to go over some things. This particular bottom here, the reason why. So first off, for those that are just tuning in, I'll go over a quick overview. We had a triangle, broke out of that triangle. Let me get rid of this. Broke out of that triangle into this new triangle. And then as you can see, I have this other triangle that we might be going into. But basically, we broke out of this. If you look at this particular triangle, it broke down first, did a fake out, then went straight to the top and broke out and went out. This triangle did the exact same thing. Fake out to the bottom, and if you notice that there's about the same amount of gap here. There's still room for the triangle left. There's still room for the triangle left. Comes down, false breakout at the bottom, and then breaks out the top. So a lot of new people don't understand with triangles is they normally only do one fake out if they do a fake out. You normally don't get a fake out in both directions. You don't get a fake out to the downside, then a fake out to the upside, and then back to the downside. That normally does not happen. Normally, if there is a fake out, it's one fake out. Um, and so what happened here when we came down here is we broke below the 30-ish K resistant support. It's about at 30K, 30,500, 30,600, whatever you want to call it. It's about 30K. We broke below that briefly and we came back up. But why did we come back up? Well, apparently on FTX, some spot whale buyer loaded the boat. We popped back into the triangle, and then at about 32K, a whale loaded the boat with spot. And once he loaded the boat with spot, that's when the perp contract people just went bananas and on FTX, and then that's what started all this. It moved into some other exchanges as well with the perp contracts. So on FTX, funding is like positive 17%, while all the other exchange funding is like negative 35%, which means there's a bunch of shorts pretty much on all the exchanges except for uh, FTX. FTX is where pretty much all the longs are right now. So it could be one whale just trying to start a short squeeze. But whatever it is, it was pretty significant. We broke above this right here. The RSI broke above. If you noticed, it's been downtrending since January 8th and finally broke above. And the DMI is crossing on the daily. This is the daily as we broke out. So all of this is very bullish. The volume did spike too. If you saw, it was very low here, and then it started to rise. People are worried about it declining right now as price is rising. Bearish divergence. You have to take a few things in mind. First off, the short squeeze hasn't even begun yet. Everybody is still stuck down here. All the shorts, not all of them, but a good portion of the shorts are down here, and right now they're crapping their pants. They're actually adding to their underwater positions up here, hoping to hold it below the 50-day MA on Bitcoin. They're trying real hard to hold it below the 50-day MA, and today is the weekly close. A weekly close on Bitcoin at 34,269 plus is going to be a close that basically this week we came in there. So if we close above that, pretty much everything below 34 300 this week looks like it was a bottom. That would be pretty bullish if we close above 34 369 at the end of the day, which looks like it's about 11 hours away, 5 o'clock my time, 5 p.m. my time. I'm not sure about everybody else's, but volume could be low. CME is closed Monday through Friday. Usually when the stock market, New York Stock Exchange is open, is where we see the most volume for Bitcoin and Ethereum. So right now those guys are not in because it's the weekend. So this is still a little bit iffy. It looks like it's FTX trying to get the short squeeze going, but the short squeeze hasn't even begun. What we got here was just one whale and some people with some perp contracts. Very little liquidations. I think 490 million or something like that, which is not much compared to what we're gonna get if they pull this off. We also have, I believe, what I heard was 45 or 46 billion dollars in stable coins. That's going to FOMO back in too if this breaks the 50-day MA and starts to rise, which we're getting some signals with the RSI and across the DMI that we are. And then also normally triangles don't break, fake out down and then fake out up. They usually once they do the first fake out, the second direction is normally the one that they take. But anything is possible. This is possible. The volume declining, it could be a sign that this is going to roll over here. It could just be that the CMA is not open and these guys on Monday are going to take it and send it. One FTX, spot buyer started this, and then the perp contracts, people took it up, and then CME, when it opens, they're gonna send it. That could be. I mean, this whole time when we fell from all-time high to here, you have to take into perspective what happened. You had 1 to 6 month new coiners that pretty much bought all in here. They puked down here. They took their loss. And then you had leveraged longs up here that were way over leveraged. They took their loss down here. It's $15 billion plus in losses. So that was a good amount of what we call overhead supply that got completely exhausted. So now, if you noticed, I talked about earlier, there is a liquidity void in here and another liquidity void in here. That takes more. We're going to need more overhead supply in order for the next leg down if we're going to get it. And I said this, many times, that overhead supply was exhausted and we need to rebuild it if we want to go down lower. And right now with this Wyckoff accumulation, with pretty fairly low volume, and then also this distribution here, which the volume was pretty dead on. We did go down, and it did complete the distribution, I guess. Wasn't much of a sell-off because after we broke below the the distribution, the Wyckoff redistribution, I mean, we got what, like, I think it was like 2 grand, 3 grand worth of selling. So technically, it did complete the structure, but there just wasn't much, um, selling. So it could be here that sellers are exhausted. There's no more sellers. You have to have buyers and sellers to have volume. So it could just be that there's no sellers right now. That's a possibility for the low volume. It could be that people are waiting for the regulation and stuff like that. So no institutions are buying. So it could be that there's no buyers. That could be the reason for low volume. It could be that just CME is closed and it's the weekend and they're going to send it on Monday. All of this is possible. Right now, Bitcoin's been in basically no man's land for 2 months, just sideways. People can call it consolidation. There has been signs of accumulation. It's been pretty much small whales accumulating. Kathy Wood and Michael Saylors, and then some other small whales, 1,000 to 3,000 Bitcoin whale buys moving off the exchange. A lot of supply came to the exchange, but then now a lot of supply has been leaving. Not a lot, but about 30,000 Bitcoins have left the exchange. And so it's quite possible that this can roll over and continue here, or it's quite possible that we could squeeze. It all depends on if the big guys on Monday want to send it. Touching the 50-day MA, it does happen in bear markets, bear market rallies. They go and they touch the 50-day MA and then they roll over. So it's quite possible. So if you didn't enter anywhere, here, you probably want to wait here for confirmation. You're going to want to wait for it to break above the 50-day EMA. I don't know exactly where it is, but I guess I don't have it on here. You're going to want it to break the MA. People are using the MA, so I'll do MA. I think it's this one. So you're going to want it to break above the 50-day MA. Right now we're just hanging out on it. We could be building support for it, but you're going to want it to break above the 50-day MA, come back test it, and then head up towards there. So you're going to want your breakout, retest, and resumption. That would be good for someone to enter once it takes its breakout, its retest, and then it breaks higher than the high that it made here. That's where your entry would be, and then your target, if you wanted to do short term and take some profits, would probably be somewhere in here. This red line is the downtrend line from the all-time high all the way down. So when we get up there, there's going to be some resistance. Right now we're in heavy resistance, but once we break here, as you can see, there is a pretty good amount of resistance. But once we break 34 500, if you will, it's a pretty good shot to about 3,600 or 36,000. And then after 36,000, we shoot up to 37 to 39,000, as high as 40, 41. And then that will be, the reflection point somewhere in between 39 and 41,000 is where Bitcoin's going to decide whether it wants to continue up or roll over. If it follows this particular time, it goes up and it hits the new triangle that it's going to go into, and then it comes back down in front, if you see like right here, which would put us at August 3rd. So August 3rd, we'd be coming back down and heading down most likely to the 24, 25K range. We're actually, I modeled it out, we would break down into probably about the high 23s before it would pop back up to this 25, 24, 25 range. Because it always overreacts. If you see here, when it goes, the triangle always overreacts. So we would look for an overreaction here when it comes down, and then it would bounce back up here, and then it would start to do whatever it decides to do. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at now. If you're not in a trade now, wait for confirmation is probably best. I got in somewhere around here, full leverage. I took 50% profit. I was in Ethereum actually, so at 1968, I went full 100% leverage. Yesterday at 21.96, I took 50% of that leverage off, about 50%. It's a little bit more than 50%. It's like 49, 45% that I have remaining. And right now I'm waiting. I'm not going to re-enter until we come down. I would re-enter my leverage personally. Not saying anybody do this, but I would re-leverage my 50% if we came down into here, or if we have the breakout confirmation there. Anywhere in between, I'm not interested. I'm not a buyer. It can still go either way. It can go up or it can go down. So if it comes back and back tests the triangle and then resumes up, that would be the scenario that most people like the most, because it would show the strength, that this is a strength move. But if we just go up from here, that's possible as well. Some people want to see it go back and test. If you see over here, it did go back and test. The triangle even dipped back in, and then came back out. But normally, like last time and like all the other times, normally you get one false breakout and then the direction. To get a false breakout in one direction, a false breakout in another direction, that normally doesn't happen, but anything is possible. So that's pretty much where we're at now. Can't think of much else. The volume dropping is a little bit concerning, but there could be reasons for it. Like I said, this looks like it's perpetrated by one FTX spot whale that bought, and then I don't know if they did the perp contracts, or if people on FTX just saw the data and did the perp contracts. But it's very interesting that FTX's perp contracts are positive 17% funding, while all the other platforms are negative 30, 35% funding. So very interesting. And the FTX, spot buyer at 32, about 32K, bought a bunch of spot and set this off. So thank you and have a great day. Have a great weekend. Bye.